Good morning. Hello, it's Sunday morning. It's 10:07. And it's producer Neil.
Good morning.
How are we?
I'm all right now.
You're all right now? What was bringing you down?
Oh, just had a hellish journey into work. But we talked about this.
Oh, we talked about this off air, and I didn't deem it appropriate. I didn't deem it of good enough quality to bore the listeners with.
Carry on.
Okay, good. Oh, it's been a big week. I don't want to, I don't want to blow your mind, but last night I tried the new macaroni cheese from Pret a Manger. Yeah, and now I'm not saying it set Twitter alight, but someone tweeted me to say that they'd seen me eating it on the train, which was a right moment. They said, didn't want to disturb you, but I saw, did you enjoy your macaroni and cheese? So I feel we need to discuss this on air. Now, this isn't as bad as when I went into Pret a Manger, Wagamama's a few weeks ago, and they changed their menu. And I will never be going again.
Get over it.
How can they remove the Yasai Chili Man? Do you know what? I didn't check whether they've still got my favourite thing, which I've never tried or seen, but is my favourite thing I've ever seen on a menu at Wagamama's, which is half a tea-stained egg. Half a tea-stained egg? Who is ordering half a tea-stained egg?
Intern Charles, there is a Wagamama around the corner.
Is there? There is.
If it opens after midday.
Oh, I reckon it'll be open at midday, won't it?
Yeah.
It probably will. Go in there and tell them that the new menu isn't as good as their old one. And also, just because they've now put their miso soup in a china bowl, that doesn't mean it's any different. It's not a change. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a restaurant review, but Pret a Manger's mac and cheese. It was. I'm a Pret a Manger apologist, but I was actually texting my friend about this, and she said that she thinks Pret a Manger's been on a downward curve since 2012. And she had a cucumber and soft cheese sandwich that was tasteless.
That's just the opinion of Josh Widdicombe.
It wasn't. It was the opinion of BT Edmondson. Not my fault. This is
you know what I mean.
This is Elba.
Josh Widdicombe.
How are you, producer Neil?
Ill-prepared.
Ill-prepared. It's a good start to the day. Why are you ill-prepared?
I left my laptop downstairs, so I just had to go and run.
You're heavy breathing on the radio. It's actually quite a sinister start. Now you're taking off your hoodie as well.
Sorry, I'm hot.
Yeah, well, with the judge of that, eh? I think you could be, I could imagine you being listed in, Heat's Unlikely Crushes.
People have to know who you are to appear in a magazine like that.
Is that the issue? I was in Heat Spotted for the first time ever, actually.
Where were you?
In a park.
Oh.
There was also, occasionally, you got this though, don't you? Didn't you get spotted this week?
Someone thought they saw you and I together.
Seems unlikely.
But, yeah, we haven't seen... This is the first time we've seen each other this week.
This week? So sorry, what... They tweeted you?
Well, they emailed in saying they saw you and me together. I think it was in a Pret, but,
yeah.
they didn't want to ask for a photo.
It might have been Charles.
Intern Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had... I wonder who I was with. Probably Debbie Harry. That's your... if people at home don't know what... You look like a bit like Debbie Harry circa 1978, I'd say.
I'll have to Google image that.
I mean, let's not get into that. It's a Google image search that I don't want to be present for. So we've got James Acaster, we've got Kathryn Ryan, we've got all manner, we've got a section where we're going to talk about Saved by the Bell. What more could you want from radio on a Sunday morning?
Josh Widdicombe.
It's the latest single from Elbow Charge, Radio Edit. And if you want the full edit, then you can buy it probably at Spotify.
iTunes. Stream it at Spotify, buy it at iTunes, other online stores. Or
do they still get money if you buy something? If you listen to something on Spotify, they get a little bit amount of money.
Yeah.
So what I do, I buy the album and then I listen to it on Spotify. So they're cleaning up these guys off the back of me. Such a good guy. Do it. Yeah? Spread the wealth, mate. That's £9.99 a month on Spotify. Oh, man. The amount of money that Pat Benatar's making out of me listening to Love is a Battlefield 12 times a day. I bet she's built an extension off my Spotify listening. Shall we do any other business?
We should.
You know, I'll quickly digress and say I didn't realise that Matthew Crosby, friend of the show, and me have our Spotify's linked up, and he did say to me this week, "You listen to Love Is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar a lot, don't you?" Genuinely, at least 3 times a week. Anyway, any other business? I don't know what it is. It's just a great tune.
I'll put in a request next week so you can get it on the playlist.
I think it's got XFM written through it like a stick of rock. Now, any other business in which people complain about the small issues with the show, or whether, you know, whatever, really, just minor pedantic issues. And if we uphold the complaint, we hear this noise. Yeah, it's a rare. We use that blue one.
Yeah, Sky Blue G5.
Sky Blue G5, which was before they sacked that extra member. That was the name of the operatic. And if we reject it, we'll hear this.
Not today.
Not today. Dear Josh, producer Neil and intern Charles, I would like to point out the error made by Michael, open brackets, the one who got detention for being his math teacher at a maths game, close brackets, in episode 80 of your podcast. Episode 80? Where does the time go? When he was saying about the time he forgot his maths equipment for an exam, he called the tool used to make arches, circles, etc. a compass. This is incorrect. The correct term is a pair of compasses. I know this as my old graphics teacher would constantly remind everyone of its correct name. Yours pedantically, Hayden.
Wow.
I tell you where we'd... Yeah, yeah. But I tell you where we'd file that. There's a certain section of AOB which is like classic boring things that people correct you on.
That's next week's text topic.
Yeah, and they'll do that thing where they'll push their glasses up their nose as they're doing it. And also, actually, it's not called a PIN number because the N stands for number. Actually, I think you'll find Hoover is a brand, so it's not a Hoover, it's a vacuum cleaner. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But... Cheers, Hayden. Anyway, dear Josh, producer Neil, open brackets and intern Charles, close brackets. I love the show, but I was dismayed by Josh's display during last week's Any Other Business. It's one thing to make throwaway errors during the show, but during Any Other Business beggars belief. Having been well and truly put in your place by Owen from Kingsbury on the Ryder Cup, you then dared to question your learned listener on Brookline, wrongly assuming Owen had made an error and it was held in Brooklyn. Owen is, of course, correct. Again, the 1999 Ryder Cup was held in Brookline, Massachusetts, and not Brooklyn, New York. Stick to 90s football references. Yours pedantically, Barney in Edinburgh. Well, I will, happily so.
In your place.
I mean, it does now seem absurd that they'd hold a major golf tournament in Brooklyn. In hindsight, it doesn't seem like the kind of place you'd have an 18-hole golf course. Right, third one. As a football pedant, I felt uncomfortable with your Euro 96 montage link during last week's show. Cast's Fine Time didn't sit right with me as the music you said accompanied the montage. I googled it and confirmed the much more melancholic Walk Away by Cast was in fact used. Mark Havas. Well, I haven't googled this, have you?
I have.
Have you? And is he correct? Now, so you've watched the montage?
No, I just literally dipped in.
You dipped in.
That's the correct Cast song, out again.
Right, because I vividly remember this montage. And I'm going to give another fact. I haven't watched it, obviously, since 1996. And I haven't Googled this. But let's see if Mark Havas, if I'm correct on this. I think one of the images was Paul Ince winking. Dear Josh, I'm producer Neil. I would like to contribute to the AOB section of your show with reference to night 4 of the Edinburgh shows. Sorry, I'm just clearing my throat to read aloud. At 1:27, I think that's 1 hour 27, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. You discussed how guest Henry Packer had been described in a review as a touchstone of modern British comedy, and you questioned the meaning of the phrase. A touchstone is a tablet of dark stones such as slate, which is used for testing precious metals. It has a grained surface on which soft metals such as gold leave a visible trace. I'm not sure what they're picking us up on here. I believe the metaphor was therefore used to describe Henry Packer as a solid and reliable anchor against which brightly shining arrivals can be assessed. Tom from Bristol. I mean, that's just... I suppose that's just answering a question, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you get a muted bell.
A muted bell. The worst of all the bells.
Josh Josh Widdicombe.
Ocean Colour Sea in the Riverboat song. Oh, feels like we're there, doesn't it? Riverside Studios, 1996. Skin from Skunk Anansie, chewing the fat with Jamie Redknapp. Don't mind if I do. This is Josh Widdicombe on XFM. No?
But obviously, just to put that in context, you mean TFI Friday for anyone who did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, otherwise, I mean, where else would that happen?
Still fairly early on a Sunday morning. People might just be waking up going, what?
If you hear the Riverboat song, I don't even think it should be called the Riverboat song. I think it should be called the theme from TFI Friday. Actually, it's not the theme. Don't write in. I know there was a different theme. It's just what they walked onto. Also, Reef should call that song It's Your Letters as well. Right, now, 2 subjects we want to talk about today. Is that correct? After this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry. I just got ahead of myself. This is XFM.
Josh Widdicombe.
That was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is Josh Widdicombe. And it is XFM. And it is Sunday morning. And producer Neil's here.
Hi.
Hi. Now, it's 10:32. It's time really to get going on the text topics, I think. We've waited too long. Just let that ring out. And we begin. So, Neil, I went to I was at evening do for a wedding yesterday. So, what was that face?
More of an acquaintance than a friend, aren't you?
Well, did you know the most annoying thing? Ramesh Ranganathan got promoted from evening to day. I know that's a slightly bittersweet pill, because you know you're the least popular person on the day. You're the only person that's kind of got in, like Indiana Jones, just under the door.
Yeah.
But being evening means I didn't have to deal with that thing of being stuck on a table with people you don't know,
right,
which I find very stressful. Do you, well, you got married, so presumably you sat with your wife for that.
Yeah, wife. Yeah, I knew everyone on the top table, indeed.
All right, big shot. Being stuck next to someone who you don't like at a wedding, worst people you've been stuck next to at a wedding, or been stuck talking to, or just met. The table you're put on is really key, isn't it?
Yep.
And it's quite galling when there's one table that's always like spares. Miscellaneous people that didn't fit onto other tables, and when you're on that table, that's the real kick in the teeth. I've had one person. It's difficult because you've got to phrase this in the right way. I had the most boring woman in the world once who had literally no sense of humour, and I just gave up on. Just turned my back and just faced the other way after about 20 minutes. I was like, this is alright, let's leave it. Should we move on from this? Another one. Well, I was maybe the boring. Last time I went to a wedding, I was next to someone who worked for Pucker Teas.
Yep. Okay.
Which I found very interesting, but she didn't think that her job was as interesting as I did. So I was continually quizzing her about tea, because I was interested in the tea-making process, the differences in qualities of teas, what makes a good tea, what makes a bad tea. And it looked like I was creepy. I don't think she'd ever met someone so interested in tea. I mean, I would have happily 4 or 5 hours there. She was constantly trying to move the topic on. I was going back to tea.
You'd have married her.
I'd have married if she'd make me a cup of tea. Have you ever had any bad experiences next to people at weddings?
Not that I can think of. I think the secret now is what I've realised is have a child, and then you can just walk away and go, oh, they need some fresh air.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
What's your view on children's at weddings? Because you get these weddings now where they ban children.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's East Germany. I don't know what that meant, really.
I'm not really bothered.
You're not?
No.
Would you wouldn't feel... I mean, in many ways, it give you a day off from the...
Some people do treat it like that, yeah.
Yeah. What we've done here is we've gone down a cul-de-sac. Neither of us got an opinion on quite a dull subject.
Nope.
If anything, we're the kind of people you don't want to get stuck next to at a wedding. Second topic, being told off as an adult.
Oh, yeah. Where do I begin, to be honest?
Well, I don't know. It's your choice.
I've actually got one the past couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah? Do you always get told off? I never get told off.
Oh,
maybe that's because I behave.
Well, yeah. Commute on the train, always busy, try and sneak into first class.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
No, hence why I got told off.
Of course you did.
But this practical week is what annoyed me is
Who do you
basically
think you are, Robin Hood?
the train manager allowed a lady to sit. She said, "Look, the train's really busy. I've paid X amount of money for a ticket. I'm not moving."
Yeah.
And I was standing at this point, being polite in the aisle. So I thought, I'm going to sit. Sat down.
Show solidarity.
Sat down. He went, "Nah, move." So I said, "Well, that's not fair because you've let that lady sit, and now you're saying I have to move." And he made me feel really, really small. So I moved. But what I have done is the train company I get, I've emailed the CEO and reported his behaviour.
Oh, my word! But he was acting in your best interests.
No, he wasn't. If he was acting in my best interest, he would let me stay in first class.
Yeah, I suppose you could have got deep vein thrombosis or something, couldn't you?
I wanted my free copy of the Times.
It's available online. It is behind a firewall, but it is available online.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.
Nirvana in Bloom. This is the Josh Widdicombe Show on XFM, and now we are joined not just by producer Neil.
Morning.
Morning. But James Acaster.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, James. King of the cabbage? Is that,
Well, not really. It seems to be the king of me. It's still defeating me on a regular basis.
I'm sure we'll come to this, but we do need to deal with the elephant in the room. Neil said, well, I presume we're going to talk about this. How would you describe your outfit today, James?
Red. The whole outfit. I'm not happy about it.
So what happened? You're wearing red trousers and a red coat.
Yeah. Now...
It's like Schindler's List.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the only person. Oh, it's Sin City. It's a washing situation that, like, I'm on tour at the minute. You know what it's like, man. You're on the road.
Yeah.
You're on the road.
Yeah.
You have to get your washing done somehow. Today is just a day where, like, I was like, well, the cleanest, or the only clean trousers I've got are these red cords.
Yeah.
I was like, fine. I like my outfit, and then I went to put my coat on and went, oh no. I've only got a red coat. My other one's in the wash, and it's cold outside. I need to put it on. So I just put it on, walked out the house. I mean...
Did you get any looks?
Well, you get subtle looks when you're dressed all in red, because it's not like you're dressed really flamboyantly in like a massive like feather boa and stuff. You're just walking along just entirely in red. So people are doing like a very subtle double take. And they just go, is he dressed in a... Well, that's a bad idea. But you look like you have...
Yeah. It doesn't look like you're making a statement. It looks like you've made a mistake.
I just look like an idiot. I just look like someone who didn't know when he was leaving the house that he's dressed entirely in red, and it's like, oh, that guy doesn't know how to look after himself. I bet he doesn't even use conditioner.
I don't think you do you?
I do, mate. I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. Big surprise. Started using it about a year ago. I love it.
I've noticed the difference. You use conditioner now.
Yeah. You haven't
Do you?
noticed the difference? How dare you? How dare you?
Wasn't worth it.
Everyone else has noticed the difference, mate.
Have they?
Oh, yeah.
How did your hair feel? Let me just...
Go ahead and feel it.
Oh, yeah, it's soft.
Soft hair, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got very soft hair.
Very soft hair. I got complimented the other day by a makeup lady.
On your soft hair?
Yeah, she said nice soft hair, but may I give you some tips about your dress sense?
You what?
But may I give you some tips about how you're dressing?
Were you walking through, there was a makeup lady on a TV. You weren't just walking through, like, Debenhams downstairs.
I go to Debenhams, I go, feel that. Feel that hair. Tell me it isn't soft.
Josh Widdicombe.
Black Keys on XFM. You right, James?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good.
This is the Josh Widdicombe Show on XFM. Sorry, something funny happened during the song, but we won't discuss that, will we? We certainly don't want to be funny. Instead, shall we have a tweet on today's topic from the listeners?
Yes, please.
Okay. Wait, let me just find it.
There it is.
Oh, there it is, right. Josh, this is on bad people to sit next to at a wedding. Josh, I went to my wife's childhood friend's wedding last year, as if it wasn't awkward enough that I didn't know anybody there. I ended up sitting next to a man at the meal who stank, had tracksuit bottoms on, and a number of teeth you could count on one hand.
Was he wearing tracksuit bottoms at a wedding for?
The day went on, and then later, it transpired that he just walked in from outside and sat down for a free meal.
Legend. You know, Daley Thompson?
Yeah.
Every time he goes to a wedding, he refuses to wear a suit. He always wears a tracksuit.
Is that true?
Yeah. I know somebody who used to be an athlete.
Yeah.
With him, and she was like one of the bridesmaids at Kelly Holmes's wedding, which was in St Paul's. And I saw her afterwards. I went, "How was it?" She was like, "Good." Daley Thompson turned up in a tracksuit again.
Like, would it be as...
It's like a black tracksuit, like the smartest tracksuit he can get. And
it was one of those ones that had, like, a suit drawn on it.
A tracksudo.
A tracksudo.
Could have been a tracksudo. But yeah, just always turns up in it and goes, "What, you said wear a suit?" And they're like, "Daley, it's getting old now."
So it's not... It's a black... It's not, like... It's not his, like, Great Britain Seoul Olympics one.
No, he does have like a black, smart tracksuit, but it's still a tracksuit.
Wow.
Every time.
That's amazing.
Everyone just gets annoyed with him. No one ever likes it. He just keeps doing it.
That's amazing. Shall I continue with this?
Yeah,
talk?
let's continue.
This is the day went on.
For longer.
Yeah, the day went on, and later it transpired they just walked in and sat down for a free meal. The day it got weirder, as after the sit-down meal, I went to pick up my children from the babysitters for the after-do. As I was driving back down the M56, my daughter chirps up, "Daddy, that man and woman are fighting on the telly." I look across to the car next to us. I clapped out Ford Fiesta. 4 blokes are watching a Bluey on separate screens.
Bluey.
Oh, no, I love the phrase Bluey.
Well done for that.
Josh Widdicombe.
And we are now joined, well, not now joined, we've been joined for the last half an hour. Terrible radio. Just really bad radio.
Good to know I've made an impact.
Now, James Acaster, Call My Josh, in which I'm going to give you 5, which is a different topic every week. You're given 5 examples, some are true, some are false. You just have to identify which is which, and we'll give you a score out of 5. How's the leaderboard looking, Neil?
Angela, Chris Martin, tied on 4. Says you got 3. You've played it before, though, haven't you, James?
Yeah.
But that was before we introduced the leaderboard element.
Okay.
Obviously, otherwise that leaderboard would have been smithereens, mate.
Well, you got 4 last time, so you'd just be joined.
First.
Now, your topic this week is Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
I'm going to give you 5 synopsises and titles of episodes of Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
The American high school sitcom.
Yep.
From the 90s. You have to identify whether they're real or false.
In the meantime, Neil, could you find out if it's synopsises or synopsi, please? I don't like the way I just got addressed.
Right. Episode 1. Save the Max. Zack and Screech relaunch Bayside High's radio station KKTY, which had been pulled off air due to Mr. Belding's antics as a DJ.
That, I believe, is a real episode.
Do you?
I think it is.
Have you seen it?
I don't think I think it sounds... Oh, gosh. It just sounds... Oh, man. I think it's real.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, good work. Does that sound like an episode you'd want to watch?
Yeah, it was... Like, the thing is, it sounds like an episode I'd probably seen, but I was like, if it's not, and I say, yeah, I've seen it, I'm going to seem like such an idiot. So, like, didn't want to, but, like, yeah, it sounded familiar.
Episode 2, Screech for the Stars.
Right, already this is reeks of something you've written. Carry on.
As his science project, Screech builds a space rocket, but with no one willing to get in it, can Zack prove to Kelly he's a real man by becoming an amateur astronaut?
Yeah, fake. That is not a real one.
What?
It's not real.
Why not?
For one, Save for the Bell didn't do puns as their names. And there'd never be an episode where he proves he's an astronaut. Supposed to be an astronaut. It's way too grand for Saved by the Bell.
Correct. Episode 3, Addicted to Love. Kelly wants to go and see her favourite singer, Robert Palmer, but can't get tickets.
Yeah, go on. Continue.
Will Zack swap his favourite baseball cap for Mr. Belding's tickets?
Right. Now, up until the baseball cap, I thought this is fake. I still think this is fake.
Oh,
but
it guest stars Robert Palmer.
It guest stars Robert Palmer as well.
Yeah.
Thing is with this is that when I was watching Saved by the Bell, I wouldn't have been old enough to know who Robert Palmer was, so it wouldn't have stuck in my mind as anything significant or I wouldn't have cared. But
I mean, I'm imagining they got Palmer and wrote the episode around him. That's how I'm imagining the process.
That would have to be how it happened. But my instinct says that would... No, it's not true.
You don't think Kelly's favourite singer was Robert Palmer?
It's fake. Yeah.
It was fake. Correct. 3 out of 3. Oh, my word, the excitement. Episode 4. Snow White and the Seven Dorks.
Right. Yep.
The gang put on a rap version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but will Zach be willing to stage kiss Jessie?
I think this is real. I think... Oh, this sounds like it shouldn't be, but I really do think I remember... Yes.
What do you think, Neil?
I just wish the listeners could see the look of just sheer concentration on James.
Oh, this is so intense. But I think...
It's correct.
Yeah.
4 out of 4. Final one. For the clean sweep. Viva Zach Vegas.
Brilliant.
To make money, Zach and Screech set up their own casino in the Max, but will Mr. Belding find out, and is Lisa a card counter?
Right, okay.
Talk me through your thought process.
Okay, I don't remember that episode, number one. It's another pun title.
So was Snow White and the Seven Dorks.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, I think card counting is a little bit too sophisticated for the Save for the Bell audience. It's a bit too Rain Man. I'm gonna say that is not an episode.
It's a clean sweep, it's correct. Oh, well done. I mean, that was the most stressed I've ever seen you.
Yeah, well, if you didn't see me putting on a red jacket this morning with red trousers, mate, but yeah.
There we go, and as a treat, this is Robert Palmer. It's not. It's Damien Rice.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast XFM.
Last night, the Strokes. On XFM.
On XFM.
There we go, there's a slight echo in the room. Now, we are 13 years old, that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, Sally.
Now, on the Josh Widdicombe Show, we are talking about bad people you've been stuck next to at a wedding. And we have this from someone who calls himself Liam from Sheffield, listening on the app.
Oh.
I don't know why that extra detail was... does that kind of thing appeal to you, Neil?
It does.
Is he saying that himself? Or is it like an iPhone thing where it just tags it on whatever you do?
Oh, maybe.
I think he's saying it himself via text. I'll report that to the web team, Liam. Thanks for the stat.
Tally that one up.
No idea how happy Neil is about that.
He's genuinely just tallied it. Went to my friend's wedding and sat with the groom's brother and his wife, who I quickly found out didn't get on with his brother and was a last-minute invite.
A last-minute invite? Ooh.
Oh. He was slightly odd, and then the couple began to tell the whole table about how he and his brother didn't get on, and also his sexual exploits, which included... And then there's loads of stars, so I don't know what they included. They were at least 55.
Well, I think that's the best person to be next to at a wedding.
Yeah,
if I went to a wedding and I was on a table with his brother who hates him and tells us all the dirt, I think this is the best. I've loved
that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, you do feel that's a little treat, that one. Went to a wedding on my own, having recently split up with my long-term boyfriend. Should we have the sad music?
Nah.
Oh. Shall we?
Let's compound it.
Do you want to sing the sad music, Neil? No, just sing it, Neil.
Let's have the music.
Went to a wedding on my own, having recently split up with my long-term boyfriend. Was sat at the table with mostly recently married who spent the entire meal discussing their honeymoons. The spare man was 18 months old. Still haven't forgiven my friend, the bride. It's from Gail.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Hey boy, hey girl, the Chemical Brothers. Quite intense, isn't it? First, what are you laughing at, James?
I thought you were saying hello to me and Kathryn.
So, well, let's do it that way. Hey boy, James Acaster.
Hello, Josh.
Hey girl, Kathryn Ryan.
Hey, girl.
Hey girl, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having me on today.
No, thanks for coming on. Numerous times now.
Twice.
Twice. No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we've been trying.
3 times.
Twice.
Twice, as I said, and it's good to have you on a second time. I think the headphones are slightly too big for your head.
Nothing's too big for my head.
Do you know?
I have an enormous... Don't you know that even when you and I take pictures together, I make sure to stand in the background so that my head looks regular human size?
Is that right? Because I've got a large head.
No.
Have you?
Yeah, I've got...
Josh has, yeah, but you haven't.
I have.
No.
You can measure it later. It's big and Irish.
That is an exciting link we can do. Measuring each other's heads. Who's got the biggest head? What size is your head, James? You've got a big head.
Yeah, a pretty big head. Yeah, well, I'm really worried about my head, actually, because my dad mainly puts on weight in his head. So
What do you mean?
Well, that's where he puts on weight.
What, around the face or around the head?
His entire head gets bigger.
Your dad has got a fat head, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Luckily, they don't listen to this because they can't work iTunes. But like my dad always says, like, I just mainly put on weight. So my head's just got bigger as I've got older. Because and like he went on a diet once, and his head did reduce. So like, I'm just really kind of always worried about like.
So does he look like kind of one of those little footballer Corinthian figures?
Yeah. He looks like exactly like a caricature.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm always quite careful.
How big's your daughter's head?
Not too big.
Not too big.
No, it's just right.
Just right.
And the Goldilocks of heads.
Yeah.
She is the baby's
The perfect head.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we didn't expect this to be the conversation that we started, but I think it's worked out rather well. Did you enjoy it, Neil?
Very much so.
Quite rude. We didn't ask you about your head.
Well, I don't know. I've never thought about it. Do opinions in the room?
Pretty normal.
Pretty normal head. I can't wear hats.
See, that's how you know.
Yeah, but you find out the side of your head when you put a hat on. I can't put on a trilby would just balance on my head. And also, we've discussed before why I can't wear woolly hats.
Why?
You know this.
Are you allergic?
No, it heats up my ears, which makes me tired.
Yeah, just classic Josh excuse.
Which I thought happened to everyone. It's apparently just me.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, so it's quite useful, though, because if I'm doing a long train journey, I can put a hat on and just go to sleep.
Well, you've got headphones on now. Does that make you tired?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's play a song. Let's play a song before I fall asleep. This is Ben Howard.
I gave up horse riding because the hats were itchy. I just want to say that before the song starts. On topic.
This is Ben Howard.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.
Ben Howard, that is off his new album, I Forget Where We Were, which is out on Monday. We're playing tracks from it all week on XFM. Also, dear Neil, you can win signed copies of the album and a trip to Amsterdam. You can't, because I imagine you can't enter as part of the company.
Normal work.
But if you really want to go to Amsterdam to watch them in December, what you need to do is quit your job and then go onto xfm.co.uk and enter. I'm not sure it's a good prize, but
Can you
it's
not
not
just ask them, Neil? Can you not just ask them to
pull some strings?
Yeah.
But no.
No. Okay, well, that's the end of that. I was trying to help you out there, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers. Still with James Acaster and Kathryn Ryan.
Hi.
Yeah.
On the Josh Widdicombe Show. Now we're talking about bad people you've been stuck with at weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any experiences like that?
None that are hilarious, but the worst person I've been stuck with at a wedding is myself, because this summer I went back to Canada for an ex-flatmate's wedding, and I was all alone. And have you ever been alone at a wedding where you only know the bride? The bride is the busiest person.
Yep.
Yeah.
There, she's the last person.
You can't hang out with the bride.
No, and they position you like a sacrificial lamb.
Do you reckon you get written off in that situation?
Written off.
Like, they could just go, that's Kathryn, we'll just put her wherever.
No, they put you in a very calculated position at a table of men who've come alone. And I don't know.
What does that sound, James?
Well, it just sounds so scary. I was like, It was like, just all men, not even like people who have come alone, just like Kathryn and
Is it
all
like
the
Take
men.
Me Out?
It's exactly like Take Me Out. Apart from this was a Greek wedding, but it was Canadian Greek. So Canadians, because we have no culture really to speak of, we attach ourselves to like distant relatives who are from Greek. So it's a badly executed version of a Greek wedding. And I don't know if it's because I've been in the UK for 8 years, but Canadian men, to me, sound delayed, for lack of a better term. Just like, oh, I don't know, I've been building houses with my dad. Like, it's terrible. And I can't speak to them. I don't want to speak to them. They're all...
And you travelled to Canada for this?
Well, yeah. I like to organize travel kind of with other things at once. I don't like to go home at all. So when I do, I go, okay, I'll hit the wedding, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll see my mom.
Yeah.
And I went alone, and I left at 9 p.m., which is really...
Left at 9 p.m.?
That must have been during the speeches.
It was during the speeches. They were crying during the speeches because the groom's dad was, deceased. So they cried about that, and then they started talking about Ithaca, which apparently is something Greek.
I went to a wedding, and it was a very good wedding.
Yeah.
And the speeches were very good, but the speeches went on so long they had to have an interval.
Oh wow!
You should have an interval. You should disperse. This is what they did: a speech, another speech, and then a little bit of a music and some food, and then another speech, and then another speech. Otherwise, these people are not good speakers.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
That's my favourite thing. Seeing people who shouldn't be doing speeches getting up and doing speeches. So
What's the worst speech you've ever seen?
I saw
a
really
one.
long best man speech where he basically, throughout it, subtly said, well, not so subtly said, that he loves the groom and is really going to miss him because he knows this is the end of their friendship. It was really great.
Wow. Oh,
This
that
is
is
James laughing.
Yeah, there's me going, mate, you are nailing this. Keep going.
Oh, did you know them?
Yeah, I knew. Well, no, I knew the groom and the bride, but I didn't know this best man. And also the best man, this is at a different wedding. But he, as they were walking out the church, he put on shades and did a cool strut out the church,
no.
and he had not run it by the couple at all, and they didn't know about it. So later on, they were like, "What?" So I said, "That was really cool. What you got him to do?" And they're like, "Right, where is he?"
Josh Widdicombe podcast. XFM.
Past, walk away. Maybe from the Euro 96 montage as we were discussing earlier. So it's up for debate, isn't it, Neil?
It is, yeah.
Still joined James Acaster.
Hello, Josh.
Kathryn Ryan.
Hello, Josh.
Now, unlikely celebrity friendships we do each week. Neil finds one, but we've just found out that you didn't know who it was, but you are one of only 41 people that is followed on Twitter by...
Kenny Dalglish.
Kenny, it's so how did you find out?
So people just started tweeting me, oh, the king is known, Kenny Dalglish follows you. How did you do that? And I looked at who it was, and I could see that he was a very respected, renowned, and accomplished footballer, and that's nice. I don't know why he follows me. I think it might be a mistake.
It can't. No, I like the idea that he's a massive fan.
Yeah.
Are you doing Liverpool on your tour?
I just did Southport on the weekend.
I bet he lives in Southport. I wonder whether he came.
Nobody's followed me for a long time.
Oh, has he?
And, Nick Knowles, I know Nick Knowles because his lovely wife, Jessica, likes my comedy. So sometimes I connect with the young wife or the daughter.
The young wife.
Or the daughter, or maybe it's something like that. Or perhaps he just really is into my jokes.
Yeah, he might be.
I think that's not what it is.
Could be.
Neil, what is this week's unlikely celebrity friendship?
It's another football one.
Okay.
It's Pele, arguably the greatest footballer to grace the game.
Yep.
Is friends with...
Is it another football person?
No. Arguably one of the finest voices of the British music scene. Mick Hucknall. I've simply read.
Is he? Oh, I can see that.
Hucknall's a massive Man United fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can buy that.
But they're the friends to the extent where Mick is godfather to one of Pele's kids.
Okay, that's too much. That's too much.
That isn't true, is it?
Met in 1985. This came in from Tom Lovelace, one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Amazing scene.
So Mick Hucknall, if Pele died, Mick Hucknall would have to bring up his children.
I'm assuming Pele's kids are kind of old enough to look after themselves now, but it's good that Uncle Mick's still there.
No, well, yeah.
If this was the 90s, that'd easily be a film. Where, Pele dies and Hucknall has to raise his adult kids by himself.
Why leave that in the 90s? Make it now.
Yeah.
Do it now. Let's do
The
it
special
anyway.
effects in space.
If it was in the 90s, though, there'd definitely be a scene where, like, that someone's running down a corridor and slips on some marbles and falls on their back.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I wasn't buying it until the Godfather thing. So which way is it? Hucknall's Godfather to Pele's kids?
I believe so, yeah.
God, Pele.
Oh, I want to see the photos of that christening.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Josh Widdicombe, James Acaster is here.
Yes.
Kathryn Ryan is here.
Hello.
Now, it's time for a cabbaging update. You want to just fill us in, James? Should we just give the backstory? Quickly, James is being bullied by a 7-year-old boy who repeats...
9-year-old boy. He's very particular about that.
Who repeatedly sends him cabbage through the post or leaves cabbages around.
Yeah. Well, it's bad enough when it was just a 9-year-old boy, but it has expanded. I've been cabbaged by him, his father, his grandfather.
Whoa.
You, let's not forget that.
I didn't do the cabbaging.
You put a cabbage leaf in an envelope and posted it to me, mate.
It was from Mick.
You did it, mate.
Let's not dwell on who did what.
No, let's not. You wouldn't want that, would you? I got cabbage, so now I've been getting cabbage by members of the public as well at gigs.
At gigs?
At gigs, so
what happens?
Walked on at the second half in Reading. There's a cabbage on stage with a post-it note stapled to the cabbage. that said cabbaged with lots of exclamation marks. And
what
the
did
culprit.
you do?
Oh well, I picked it up and said who did this, and I didn't even have to ask. The culprit was so delighted with himself. So easy to pick them out of the audience. So she was on the front looking very happy, and then she's like, yeah, I thought of it on the way here. So I just ducked into a shop and bought some post-its and a cabbage, and then I had to staple it on. I was like, when did you get a staple gun? So she did that. I turned up to my venue in Birmingham, went to the dressing room, and in the dressing room was hidden 3 cabbages in different places. So one was on top of the toilet with a flag stuck in it that said, you just got cabbaged, have a good show. And I thought, well, that's probably the only cabbaging I'll get. And then I sat down on the sofa, there was a cabbage behind the pillow. And there was...
Do you know who did it?
Yeah, it was the venue staff.
It's funny when you have to say to yourself in the day, this is probably the only cabbaging I'll get.
Yeah.
And it's not. And
This
it's
is probably
not.
the last of the cabbaging, right? And then there's an ice bucket, and I open the ice bucket, there's a cabbage inside it. And then also recently, my girlfriend lives in New Zealand because, I know how to do an easy relationship. I'm pretty clever. She lives in New Zealand, and because she's very nice, she sent me a package over from New Zealand of loads of New Zealand treats, chocolates and stuff.
Yeah.
And also a cabbage, but she's not allowed to send an actual cabbage. So
Yeah.
that's in fruit and veg out of New Zealand. So she made one out of modelling clay. So my first man-made cabbage.
Oh my
Modelling
word.
clay cabbage. Yeah, but it looked... So I really love puddings.
Yeah.
And so it shows how much I love puddings, is that as soon as I saw it, I smelt it to see if I could eat it. Because I didn't know if it was made of modelling clay or something
Or
nice.
like marzipan.
fondant.
Marzipan
Yeah, I
cabbage.
thought it's like a fondant cabbage.
So how are you going to bring this to an end?
I had it planned, I had it in the diary, and I had to cancel it because I had a whole thing that I'd overlooked. So I'm really annoyed because I was meant to be getting him this week and stopping it all, and I've had to reschedule. And
You're not going to kill him, are you?
look, if you were getting cabbaged by progressively more and more of the nation, you'd start to think dark thoughts as well, Josh. I'm gonna set the score, whatever the term is. I'm gonna even the playing field. I'm gonna
Put that cabbage to bed.
Yes. So, but I can't tell you how because he listens to the podcast, and as soon as I say how, he's gonna get me with the same thing first.
Oh my word.
He did that last time
Yeah.
by sending me one in the post. So
You're getting reverse groomed by a small boy.
just negged.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, I'm very
sorry.
excited. So we will watch the space. If anyone wants to cabbage James Acaster, what's your address?
Sorry, mate. I just swallowed a whole Suva whole. I didn't expect to do it. I'm really off.
Okay, well, let's go before... have you just been cabbaged down the phone? This is XFM.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
Well, we're nearing the end, aren't we, Neil?
We are.
But there's still chance to plug. As people will know by now, we're competing heavily with Sunday Brunch. Neil will be cooking while we plug. What are you cooking this week?
Well, I decided, because it's kind of coming up to Christmas, people generally need to lose a bit of weight because they put on weight over Christmas.
No, they don't. You need to have a more positive body image now. You're perfect the way you are. Any time of year.
Thank you. But you're going to be disappointed. So I've just got some sound effects so we can eat with our ears rather than our mouths today. All right? So this is
How do you live with yourself? What are you doing? Sound effects.
So what's the sound effects?
That's bacon.
Bacon, okay. So, Kathryn, we'll start while Neil cooks the bacon. You're on tour?
I really enjoy bacon sound effects. I think we should have them all the time.
It slightly sounds like we're on fire.
We've all been captured by cannibals. And
So, are you turning it up?
Alienating your Jewish listeners.
Kathryn, you're on tour?
I'm on tour. It's called Glamro Muzzo. You have to say it in an Essex accent badly. And I'm on tour until December, and then again from March till May. We added more dates.
I'm gonna quickly run through.
No.
What's the date today?
October 9th.
19th.
Okay. Coming up, Forest, Farnham, Windsor, London, Southampton, Norwich, Cranley, Salford, Exeter, Yeovil, Tiverton, Ivybridge, Birmingham, Nottingham, Lincoln, Colchester, Aldershot, Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, High Wycombe, North Finchley, Aberdeen, Glasgow and Edinburgh. Then Cheltenham, Cardiff, Bridgewater, Bedford, Warwick, Durham, Lancaster, Preston, Reading.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
James.
also on tour with my show, Recognise. JamesAcaster.com for tour dates.
It's so good. I would see that one over mine. I really love it. It's such a great show.
I very, very much enjoyed it. I'd say it was the second best thing I saw in Edinburgh. And Neil?
What was the best? Can't believe this.
New Sunday night, so Communion that I look after is 7 till 9, and Dave Roundtree from Blur, which I also look after, is 9 till 11 now. So tune in tonight.
There we go. Have you got any more sound effects? Just more bacon.
Yeah.
Well, Suntra's coming up next. We'll leave the bacon sound effect on and see whether she turns it off. This is the Cortinas. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.